So I like when I see when I'm looking at me when I'm walking past the mirror. Don't stress through the night at a time in my life. Ain't worried about if you feel it. Got my head on straight, I got my vibe right. I ain't gonna let you kill it. See, I won't change my life just fine.
Hello and welcome to A Seat at the Table. I'm Deneen Milner. Human trafficking is a trade of humans for the purpose of forced labor or sexual slavery. Today, we're discussing the global epidemic of modern-day slavery.
I'm Christine White. According to Forbes, human trafficking is the fastest-growing crime industry behind illegal drugs and firearm trafficking.
And I'm Monica Pearson. Children with a history of sexual abuse and neglect often fall prey to exploiters who promise to give them love and attention. Let's take a look.
How do you feel like government care and the system makes kids more vulnerable to being trafficked?
I think that the only way they're more vulnerable is because you're not giving them the essential skills that they need in order to survive. They never had a home, you never had love, you never had family, so you're going out and you're meeting these people that saying, I promise you I'm going to give you this, I promise you I'm going to give you that, and you have nothing else to believe this because you really didn't never have someone to grow your self-esteem.
That was survivor Ashley Cacho, a young girl who lost her mother and was sent to foster care, then trafficked while being in government care. But that, of course, is not the only way that it happens. Girls from good families early on get pulled into this business by social media. They are wanting what they see in the videos.
Right.
And the next thing you know, they are literally being lured, and then they are coerced. And the next thing you know, there's mind control, and you're caught up in a system you can't get out of. And usually it's girls between the ages of 13 and 19.
Babies.
Yes.
They've only been on this planet 13 to 19 years. I know what I was doing when I was 19. I was not the smartest, like, wasn't the brightest porch light on the block, right? You just do a lot of things that don't make a whole lot of sense to a grown-up, but make a whole lot of sense to a predator who's able to capitalize off of the fact that your brain is not fully functioning the way that it should be. And they come and they take advantage of you.
And capitalism is the right word because capitalism operates in such a way that the system is optimized when labor is as cheap as possible.
Right.
Or as my daddy would say, capitalism rewards slavery.
Right.
And so that's why we have to be as diligent as possible and really try to check wherever we see this sort of possibility of slavery happening because our system influences it. It almost encourages it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, when you think of what young girls see, when you look at the music videos and you see the red-bottom shoes, the fancy cars, the jewelry, it's very appealing when you're 16 or 17 or 18 because that's what you want. It doesn't matter what your family values are. At that age, it's like, ooh, I want to be like the girls in the video.
Right. And how many times have you heard us say, oh, well, I didn't want to date a guy my age because they're dumb, they don't mature fast enough, they're not as mature as a girl is at 16 or 17
And they can't give me the things I want.
And let's be real clear about grown men going after little girls.
Yes.
Okay, I've walked through Lenox Mall with my daughters.
Right.
At age 12 and 14 and seen and had to stare down grown men looking at
almost
them
fight.
like they're women. Like, don't make me come for you in the middle of this mall hallway. Don't do it. She's a child.
And this is how men are socialized as well. Like, there's something really wrong when we are accepting the fact that a much older, let's say, producer, I don't know, is in a relationship with a much younger person.
Right.
I mean, this is something that is sort of prevalent in our community, and we don't have the type of disgust when we hear about older men dating younger women, and we don't place that requirement on men in a way that really makes it socially unacceptable.
Right.
Now, recently we've seen it
with R. Kelly,
R.
the
Kelly.
alleged abuse with R. Kelly. But the thing about that, How many years have we been hearing of this alleged crime by R. Kelly? And it took a 6-hour documentary
Right.
to make people really care.
Right.
And then, just think about it. When the men who are doing this are not just entertainers.
Right.
They are doctors, lawyers.
That's right.
Somebody's
Politicians.
daddy.
Right.
Your uncle.
Yes.
Right.
And it's
Absolutely.
such a big business
Boy.
that now girls and boys are being trafficked in a way that everybody's looking at, well, how is this happening? How do you identify it? But the reality is it's been going on forever. I remember years ago where you had men, who we now call pimps or traffickers, being at the bus station
Right.
when young women or very young boys would come into town and, well, here, let me take you someplace. Let me take you somewhere safe. Let me show you around the city. And the next thing you know, they're in the sex trade.
Right.
When it was not what they planned.
Right.
And they usually move them from city to city so you cannot have a base of support who can pull you out
Right.
and say, this is not good. But again, they are pulled in
Right.
because of what they are offered and not knowing that it's glittery, but it's not gold.
Right. Let's talk about Centoya Brown.
Oh, Lord, that's a
You
sad
know, the
case.
young lady who was sentenced to, what, 52 years in prison?
She
or
was
something?
15 years of
She was
age.
15
She was
years
a
old, or 15 or
victim.
16 years old when she was pulled into, she was trafficked, basically, as a sexual slave and ended up killing her pimp. And she went to prison for
Right.
and got sentenced to prison for 52 years. And the governor did grant her clemency recently after a massive push
Right.
on
Activism
social media, but
campaign, yes.
activism. She didn't
She
deserve
never
to be there in the
deserved it.
first place.
Right.
She was a child who was trafficked as a sexual slave
Right.
and killed her abuser.
Right.
Let's be clear about what happened.
Yeah.
And let's be clear about why she should not be behind anybody's bars.
And
But
there are-
I'm so glad that she's coming out.
But could we say the reason that happened to her, because she was a black female?
Absolutely.
That
And
question
there
has to be
absolutely
raised.
Tons of
Absolutely.
other young ladies who have experienced the same thing that are behind bars, unfortunately,
Right.
still.
Right.
Young women between the ages of 13 to 19 are often targeted for human trafficking, especially on the internet. Let's look at a video.
It all started because I posted on a social media site that I hated my mother. A woman messaged me back telling me that I could go stay with her and we'd go partying. She showed up within the next 45 minutes and I was gone.
Well, we are now joined by Sierra. She is a survivor of human trafficking. Sierra was just 18 years old when she met her exploiter on social media, who lured her and a friend to another state. Thank you so much for being with us, Sierra.
Welcome.
3 years in that mess and now out.
Yes.
What caused you to be pulled in? What did your trafficker say online?
The page was disguised as a girl. So me and her continued to have a conversation about how she was making her money, how she was traveling. And I got interested because I wasn't in school. I was just at home. So social media kind of reeled me in. And then it turns out it was a guy. We developed a relationship for about 2 weeks, and then he flew me out to Houston.
With your best friend?
Yes.
But she left and you stayed?
Yes, she left.
What happened after that?
I would just have to say the different cars, being able to travel, you know, not having the responsibility to pay bills or pay for anything. It was just like, everything was taken care of as long as you do what you're supposed to do. And I did.
You come from a good family. Your mother and grandmother just adore you and love you. And this was tough on them, too. The abuse you experienced.
Oh. The abuse I experienced was it hurt. Like, I don't understand, like, emotionally, physically, just for any abuse you could think of, he did it all. The poles, switches,
Wow.
belts.
And then he would turn around and do what after he beat you?
I remember getting a really bad beating, and the next day we woke up to a day off, and we were on the boat in Miami.
When did it begin to click for you that there was something wrong with this situation?
Well, I think after 3 years of doing everything he told me to do, the beatings start to get worse because he was angry. He broke both of his legs and his arm, so he wasn't able to care for himself. The only person that was there to care for him was me because everybody else had to work. And I think his first time trying to walk was to beat me. And I just was like, this guy's crazy. Like, you'd rather, you know, risk your heal process to beat me because I'm disobedient. Like, he's crazy.
So there was coercion, there was beating, and what about the mind control?
It's something serious. Just from him telling you one thing, then doing the next, then, you know, you wake up one day, you're flying out to Hawaii for the Pro Bowl. It's like, it's confusing and you don't know which way to go, but your first instinct is to just follow this man because this is who you left home for.
Were you thinking about home? Like, what was it that you remembered about your home life, your family, and what did you think? Did you feel like he loved you more than your mom and your grandmother did? Like, how did
I would
that work?
say, like, the relationship that we developed over the time of me being there, you know, it did feel like love. I mean, you're seeing a person day in, day out, caring for them, doing everything that he wants you to do. So, yeah, love was definitely in the picture.
Did he say he loved you?
Yeah. His first time telling me he loved me was after he beat me because I was supposedly out of pocket talking to another guy.
But now, after 3 years, you said enough is enough.
Yeah.
And it was through Wellspring Living that you got your life back.
Yes.
Explain what you went through.
So this is the exciting part. I dropped out of school and, of course, started, you know, selling myself or whatever, but I went on to find Wellspring. My mom helped me find Wellspring, and she said, you should really try it. And at first I was skeptic because it was like residential. I'm like, oh, I can stay with my grandma. I don't need to stay in anyone else's home. But I took a try, and there was community-based as well. So they helped me get my GED. I got my GED in 6 out of 10 weeks. I moved on to the career path, and after the career path, I moved on to the apprenticeship, which was a law firm in Buckhead. It's just to look back over the year, because now we're, you know, it's a new year, just to look back over the year and what I've overcome. It's like, that year took up 3 years. Like, I did everything that I needed to do in a year for me, and I came out on top.
So you have an opportunity to help other women.
Yes.
And I know that you hear people say, well, why didn't you just leave? Or, you know, these girls are making these choices. What do you say, having experienced this yourself and knowing so many women who are trapped in this situation? What do you say to folks out there who feel like, you know, you should have just left?
It's difficult for, you know, a young girl to go into this new life with a new man. You know, some may not have a father figure at home, so they move towards this guy who's kind of, what do they call it, the daddy? They call themselves daddy. So they move towards, you know, something like that. Then they brand you, and it's like, you feel like you're his now. You don't belong to anyone else.
And they literally brand you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once I got with him and he cut our social media off, kind of cut us out from the regular world because of what he was doing. He knew it was cruel, but he still did it.
It's called isolation.
Yeah.
Pulling you to another city, taking you from your support system and family, coercing you, beating you, and then giving you something to make you feel better.
But it's like the life that you want to live, you think you're living it, but really he's living it because, you know, he's profiting off of you. He's profiting off what you've made. And at the end of the day, it's just you're just a tag along. He's like, yeah, I'm taking you with me, but really this is for me. This is for me to look good.
And your power came when you said, hey, you're not making any money if I'm gone.
I'm out of here.
Hello. We've got to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. This conversation is just getting started. When we come back, we'll be joined by a passionate advocate tackling modern-day slavery head-on.
No girl or boy dreams of being sold for sex. But when I was 11 years old, I was exploited as a victim of human trafficking. All I ever wanted was for someone to ask me if I was okay. After 4 years, someone finally did, and it changed my life. Now I'm thriving and helping other victims find a voice. There are so many still out there who don't know how to leave. Look beneath the surface. Stop human trafficking.
Strong message. Welcome back to A Seat at the Table. Here with us now is Mia Pion-Pierre. Mia's organization, My Sister's Place, HT, works to aid and foster young women rescued from human trafficking. This is absolutely extraordinary. How and why did you start this organization?
Well, from a young age, I grew up in Brooklyn. And when we first moved to Brooklyn, we couldn't speak a word of English. And my stepmother, she physically, mentally, emotionally abused myself and my sister. And there were neighbors. They never said anything. Mm-hmm. And because of my church, we were rescued. But I felt that easily I could be part of that life because there was a lot of exporter in New York City that was trafficking young immigrant Black women. And talking about young immigrant Black women, they do not have a voice. They have a language barrier. Mm-hmm. They don't have no one to speak on their behalf. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I said, I'm going to take this rage and turn it into something where I can do good for humanity. Mm-hmm. And then I've met Ambassador Andrew Young, and he always talk about social justice. So I take everything that happened to me, and I said, I'm gonna make something happen for young Black women and young immigrant that has no one to speak on their behalf and be a voice, be a force.
Tell us about your work. What kinds of services do you provide?
Well, what we do, we target, since we know that traffickers, they target poverty, mm-hmm. they target those young, vulnerable, they're not even targeting young women, they target young men, young boys. Mm-hmm. So we target the social injustice, because if this is a social issue, and we know that opportunity here in the United States is not equal. Mm-hmm. We may think it is, but it's not. So they target those who are brought up in a home where they have only one single parent. There's a lot of domestic violence, a lot of abuse, alcoholic abuse. So they target those communities where the young Black women are vulnerable. And I tell you, if this had happened in a white middle-class neighborhood,
mm-hmm. Yeah, things would be different, right?
It would be different.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I know the mayor's office has started a program, and Wellspring Living also has it, where they do an apprenticeship, which is kind of like one of the first in the country.
I rescued a young woman. She's in New York City. She called me. She said, I want to go back to my pimp. Because he provides $2,500 every 2 weeks for her. And now she goes back home where she's just getting food stamps.
Yeah, relapse.
She's going back into relapse.
So how is it you haven't relapsed, and the girls you know who've gotten out?
Actually, right after I came home in October of 2017, I relapsed in December.
Wow.
And I went back, and I was with him for a weekend, and throughout that whole weekend, I ate twice. He didn't care about if I ate or not, or anything. And I think that just was like, come on, like, are you stupid? Like, I was ready to go, just.
Sierra, tell me, what is it that we should be looking for? How do we find you? If I'm in an airport or in a grocery store.
Or in a hotel.
Walking down the street, in a hotel, how do I find someone who went through what you went through, who's going through it right now? How do we identify it, and what should we do?
I would say, tattoos are kind of difficult because they tend to hide them because of the work that we do or did. But I would just say the clothes that they're wearing, like if the guy is dressed a certain way and these women, like, we will wear a lot of skimpy stuff to get the attention from other men to, if you're in an airport, you're going to try to do something, meet somebody. So definitely just the clothing that they wear. If it's one guy and a million girls.
Right.
I think that we need to be more aware. Education is key. Education about human trafficking, modern day slavery. We haven't even touched about those that were brought here and work from sundown to sunset.
Right.
We haven't even touched that. Now they're targeting young African Nigerian women, targeting young Jamaican, the Caribbean, anywhere. So right now, education is key. It's essential that we talk about it every day. We make it a part of the conversation where we talk about it. And we make our children, because now, like you said, they put tattoos, but now they put the chips in you. We had 3 girls that we rescued 2 weeks ago. We had to go to Grady and remove the chips. So now that's how they do it, because it's a big industry.
Yeah.
Well, while human trafficking, as you've heard, is a global epidemic, many people were shocked to hear that Atlanta ranks high on the list of cities in the U.S. struggling with this problem. As a matter of fact, the FBI says Atlanta has been in the top 10 cities for human trafficking for over 10 years. Yeah, because of our sex industry here. And as I mentioned before, Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms has just launched an initiative to combat trafficking with the kind of help that is needed for these young women and men when they come out of the business. Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport also has a campaign aimed at recognizing human trafficking.
We're talking about children. We're talking about children being bought and sold and prostituted. This is a modern day form of slavery, and so much of it really is about people being aware. If you see something, say something. If it doesn't look right, if it doesn't feel right, it's all about awareness.
With large events such as the Super Bowl, conventions, and conferences, we would like for everyone to stay safe. If you are in immediate danger, dial 911. And if you see something, please say something. The National Human Trafficking Hotline phone number is 1-888-373-7888.
And for those of you who might be in this business and want to get out and you wonder, how can I do it? Just look at Sierra. Sierra did it. She is thriving. But you've got to be willing to walk away, because as Sierra said to me, you are the one that's making money for him. If you gone, he's gonna suffer.
Yes.
You know, one thing that really just gets me upset is when we're talking about these kinds of topics and men chime in, well, you know, I have a mother, I have a daughter, and so I care about this. I want them, all of us, to care about the way that human beings are being mishandled, mistreated, abused, and hurt. Sierra is a human being. She doesn't have to be somebody's daughter or somebody's wife or somebody's mother for us to care about what happens to her. I'm so proud of you for being so strong and getting yourself to safety. And I have nothing but the highest expectations that you are going to go out here and change the world and do it not just for yourself, but for other little girls who went through what you went through. You didn't deserve it, but I'm so proud of you and that you're out of it.
Yes.
This is a difficult subject, and it is hard to talk about, but it is necessary. And often I feel like, when is the right time to talk to a little girl or a little boy? How soon is too soon? You don't want to traumatize them, but the risk is too high to not have the conversation. We have to have the conversation. And I thank you for your strength, and I thank you for your service. I'm so thankful that you guys were able to come onto this show and tell your story, which is not an easy thing to do. But I'm grateful. I can just say thank you so much, Sierra. Thank you so much, Mia. We have to go, but the conversation doesn't have to end here.
Share your thoughts with us on social media.
We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest at ASATT TV.
Thanks for joining us at A Seat at the Table. And in the words of Shirley Chisholm, if they don't give you a seat at the table,
Bring a folding chair.
Right.
I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I will survive. Keep on surviving. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I will survive. Keep on surviving. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I will survive. Keep on surviving. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I will survive. Keep on surviving.